That's rapidly changing. I did work briefly at Rushy League School, and we had a campaign against a so-called beacon outstanding school, and we had a big campaign against academisation there, and we even had Labour councillors, including Peter Soulsby himself, attending those anti-academy meetings, vowing to fight academies, vowing to do everything in his power to do that. That campaign wasn't successful, but we've seen no attempt by the Labour Council and Peter Soulsby to resist the tidal wave of academies in the city. And as long as that money is going to those CEOs, as long as that £250,000 is going to the CEOs, lo and behold, surprise, surprise, there's cuts in the schools. Lunchtime supervisors, classroom assistants, lab technicians, after-school clubs, school trips, one by one being cut, and eventually that will be teachers. Eventually, even now, it's kids having less choice in their curriculum because it costs too much to have a wide and varied curriculum. Perhaps not offering music, perhaps not offering another language like Italian, for example. You stick into French or Spanish. And that's happening in our schools. And my question really to the candidates is, how would you join in the fight to oppose academies? We want a Labour council, or a council, or a mayor, a fighting mayor, who's prepared to stand up alongside parents and teachers and school students to oppose academies, not just shrug your shoulders and say, what can we do? It's government policy to academies. We want the council to be part of our fight against academies as well.
Yeah, that's very much my experience as a parent of a child whose school is currently being, taken over by a landmark academy trust. And these people, it's an incredibly expensive, inefficient way of running education. It's shocking. Public money is being siphoned off. We will look back, if we're still around, in 10 years' time, if you've still got any functioning state, we will look back at that and we will say, how did we let these shysters milk the public purse at this time of austerity, a time of universal credit, benefit sanctions, zero investment in housing? How did we let these people do a job that had been done previously by an education officer and 60 grand, 250 grand for like about a third of the number of schools? How did we let these people do this to us? I'm afraid that one of the reasons why we might have let these people do this to us is that Labour Party policy wasn't a lot better than Tory Party policy. And Labour Party policy laid the groundwork for free schools. I'm not saying that the sinners can repent. You can come back, you can decide that this was a terrible idea, and you can adopt the policy that the Green Party has, which is public money goes to it, it's under local authority control. And we're going to have once we make all the CEOs redundant, that's a lot of cash we can spend. A lot of cash we can invest in the education system. And of course, the problem is that the actual land and the schools have been given to these trusts. So we would have to have some point at which we just say, fine, you've got a school, but the Treasury isn't giving you a single penny to use it until you decide to sell it to us for this amount of money. I think there might be a window of opportunity coming up now. Brexit is massively overloading the machinery of government. All these people are very busy at the moment. If 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 cities used to turn around and say, hello, we're not going to let any of our schools become academies, what are you going to do about it? There's a significant capacity problem in Whitehall. They could cope with 1 city doing this. They could send commissioners into 2 cities, maybe for 3. The regional commissioner system is massively overloaded and overworked. Ofsted is overloaded, overworked and under-clever. They have got much capacity here, and I wonder how much it would take for us to sort out some kind of national movement that just said, no more academies. Not only that, you trusts living on borrowed time, you need to spend your time with your forensic accountants trying to cover your tracks and get the money away because we're coming for you. I think you should do that.
turn to say I agree. It's getting boring. We should have had peace on.
There's a Labour councillor here who could have stood it, or someone could have.
So he's the one who kept shaking his head when I was speaking.
Three Labour councillors. Have we any more? Any Labour councillors who got it?
Well,
Oh, you've got. Says speaks volumes.
I 100% agree with the point that's been made on that. By the way, I've got back a bit on citizen-based income. That's fine, but I think under capitalism, they won't give us much in terms of a citizen. So it's not just having basic living standards for wages and for benefits, but it needs to be something you can actually live on rather than a token amount. But we can talk about that anyway. And I think, you know, that's part and parcel of getting rid of this system of capitalism. But coming back to academies, I 100% agree with that. I've always opposed academies. It's privatisation of education. That's what it is in reality. They aren't technically making a profit, but when the chief executive's sitting on a few $100,000, you know, it's only slightly different from that, isn't it? Because that money comes from the money they don't pay teachers and don't pay staff in the school. So it's privatisation, we've always opposed it. And actually, Chris is right. It was Labour policy in the past to bring in city academies. Under the Blairites, under the people possibly the ones that walked out of the room, I don't know. That was their policy. And when was the schools campaign, Tracy? I can't remember what year. I can't remember the year. 1999 was it? We were part of a campaign a few years ago, whenever it was, where Leicester's Labour Council proposed to shut 6 secondary schools and 2 sixth forms in Leicester. There was a huge campaign against it. It was opposed by the NUT at the time, and it was opposed by parents. And Tracy here and me and others were part of that movement. And at Wycliffe in Braunston, we actually occupied the school for a whole term and tried to run lessons for the kids, because the parents said, we're not taking our kids elsewhere, this is our local school. The council said, oh, these schools are too small. The problem with small schools is you have to give them more money per pupil so they can get the full range of the curriculum. Good! Every one of these was in a deprived area. Every one of these, the kids needed more education, more teaching. So we opposed it. Unfortunately, the council closed those schools. But when they closed Mary Linwood College, Ayers Monsell, Saffron Lane, they closed it. They spent 600,000 knocking it down. And then lo and behold, they came up with this new policy. Guess what? We need more schools in Leicester. We're going to build a city academy on the site of Mary Linwood College. The Samson Academy, run by a food baron. So we oppose all academies, and we oppose the privatisation of education, and that policy is quite right, it came from Labour as well as the Tories. So we have to stand together with the teaching unions and the staff and the parents in opposing it, and publicly and openly be part of that. And just as I said in other cases, what the council should be doing is talking to the unions involved and saying, what can we do? How can we help this campaign? You tell us and we'll do it. That's what we should be doing on all of these issues, whether it's local council workers' pay terms and conditions, whether it's teaching and education. We should be going as councillors, council leaders, whatever, they should be going to the unions and saying, now tell me what we can do, instead of ignoring the unions and having a sort of disdainful approach.